Hey everybody, hope you're doing okay. Look on the screen, you see an elderly woman. She is on a walker. Of course, this is not the actual person that this story time is about. What I want to address a lot of times, first of all, I want to say bad things happen to good people like all the time. Okay. So because someone has misfortune doesn't mean, oh my gosh, you're a bad person. No, not even. That's not even the deal. But I do want to say bad things happen to good people. And sometimes things happen, it may be karma. Let's go ahead and get to the story time. So this was a news report on elderly people that were facing eviction. Okay, and it's like, where can they go? The HOA increases. If you're on a fixed income, good luck with that. And even if you have any savings, we already know that even if you have savings, guess what? It can eat at it. Inflation can like eat you out of savings. So, I want to kind of give us some background. We were talking about a friend of mine who's coming into some money. I'm like, well, you've done real estate before. You want to see how things go, and just do one of your products. Do what you know to do best, what you know makes money, and you know how to make calculated moves. So, you might find a deal here and there. Okay. Um, so meanwhile, so I had mentioned like they've got, foreclosures and tax properties. Unfortunately, people walk away from houses, they lose houses, and then they may have a tax sale. So I'm like, you know about things like that. You have a plan, you know what to do, and so just be ready to make some moves. But you're gonna do fine. You've made a whole lot of money before. You can do it again. Just proceed with caution, but just look for deals. 2026 is not going to be a good year. I thought 2024 was it. 2025, people just barely trying to survive. 2026, oh, that's just not going to be it. It's not going to be the year of recovery as many of us are anticipating. So, Mima, of course, not my Mima, she made a comment when I had said about buying like a foreclosed property. Oh, yeah, people lose those properties and then you can buy them. And she says that, yeah, then you'll buy them, then next it'll be your turn. Your turn. Excuse me? Next it'll be your turn. And so yeah, let's clarify. So here's what she said. A little background information. Her husband is deceased. He used to be a manager. And you know how companies have like they'll say, okay, we're gonna do a project in this area, and then they have them go to like a really rural area. So her husband was a manager, and she talked about this here in the past in a separate story, just so you know, a separate conversation. And how there was he would hire men. It was an outside job for all men. You're looking at black and white men. And so it was like he'd hire mainly white guys that showed up. And then he'd hire a few black men. And it's like, how jobs can rotate, then this person gets to do this and rotate. Well, it was one job that I guess was more one function of the project that was more enjoyable than others, but the black man never could get his turn. Always rotating. She was like, he just wouldn't let him get his turn. Really now? So also he's engaging in racial discrimination. Not surprised. As he worked in this area, which is a rural area, people, die off or they fall behind on a mortgage and then they want to sell. So her husband started to realize, hey, in these areas here, you might can pick up some houses that are on land, pick it up real cheap. And that's what they did. So I remember her saying, oh, yeah, we picked up those houses and those people, they couldn't pay. you know that right there, we weren't worried about them. It was just business. They can pay, so they had to get out, either pay or get out. Really now? Huh. So they bought these houses, had a couple of them, and held on to them for years, and then the property value went up. Basically, when he retired, they obviously was traveling, having a good time, but they what do they call it? You don't want your money to outlive you. And now that he's dead, and some of the properties have been sold to support their retirement, now the money has outlived her. And she is on a very fixed income, and that's why today she cannot afford the HOA. So she's going to have to move. I haven't heard about a son or daughter, and didn't care, didn't even ask. And I thought about it. maybe this right here, and people say, oh, the person is old. What did you do when you were young? Nobody born 89, 75 years old. How old are you? I'm 93. You know, come on, it's a process. And I thought about it. That what she's going through right now. You can't afford the HOA. This might be her karma. Just like she didn't care about those families. Oh, they can pay, it's business. Well, guess what? The HOA, they're trying to make more money. It's just business. And I thought about it. Look at you yesterday. And now fast forward, look at you today. Now you can't pay. And when she told a story about how, her husband was the manager, and how, the few black men he hired, it was like, well, he wouldn't let them do it. And I thought about it. I bet back in the day when you were doing well, you probably, that might have been your little joke at the little party at your little house. Oh, you probably thought that was real funny. Uh-huh. Oh, the money you made, you didn't care about those families. They couldn't pay, they couldn't stay. It's business. Well, guess what, meanwhile, the HOA has gone up, and if you can't pay, you can't stay. According to them, it's business. And it goes to show you, people forget what people try, like I said, good things happen to, bad things happen to good people. And I'm not saying, hey, we don't want a lot of people homeless, but it's like sometimes people forget what they've done and it'll come back in circle. See, what does it say? What's it saying? Karma never forgets an address. The sad thing is, it came up with her address when she's old. Karma never forgets an address, and now look. So just like she felt about those families, oh, if they can't pay, they can't start, it's business. I said, wow. And she has thought about that. That's why she said what she said. I guess now it's my turn. And sadly, I think it is. And they've got programs, I'm sure, to help the elderly. They'll figure it out. I'm sure they've got the Red Cross, what have you. But it's things like this here. People can gloat when it's going well for them and others are hurting. Oh, but when karma comes, I thought about it. At this age, honey, you just trying to survive. It's not going to be a turnaround. You can't go and get a job doing what? Maybe now it's my turn. Maybe it is her turn. Like those families that were losing their household, they couldn't pay, they couldn't stay, and now look, to live in comfort. Real estate holdings. Husband is deceased, dead and gone, and now if she can't pay, she can't stay. So it's sad to say. Not that I'm saying oh wait, good for her, or whatever, but it lets you know people have no compassion for others. And you can be shot, you can be riding high in April and shot down in May. You can be riding high for the next 20, 30 years. And then at the end, when you're like, okay, well, you really, really need to be able just to rest and just chill, it can all fall apart. So she's right. Maybe it is her turn. So people need to really be aware. Some of these people in charge that are making it, and they're doing great. It can be temporary. So let me know what you think. I'm not saying, oh well, too bad for her. She'll have to just figure that out. She had her turn, made a lot of money off that. Those families couldn't pay and they couldn't stay. And look, decades later, no husband beside you. And now she's facing this all by herself. If she can't stay, she sure is. If she can't pay, she sure as heck can't stay. So sometimes people are like, oh my God, that is just horrible. That is just horrible. But sometimes what a person did yesterday was just horrible, just horrible. And people forget and want to act like, oh no, me. So when those families back in the day couldn't pay, couldn't stay, wow, look at karma. She's facing the same fate. If she cannot pay the increase from the HOA, Meemaw will not be able to stay. And for her to verbalize that, I knew then for her to say that this is bothering her spirit. Why do you think she said it? Most people try to hold it in. Obviously, it's come back to haunt her. Anyway, let me know what you all think. It's sad, but that's life. Again, karma. What do they say? It never forgets an address. And karma, that's the witch that won't quit. And I'm out. Little Mimo.